Alrighty, right, folks, we're going live, going hot. We are going to head on over to Facebook and share this lovely stream out to a few places and see if we can get some extra peoples in here. Of course, I'm hitting Facebook, Steve, and it's taking forever to load. There we go. Now it's loading. Well, that took a little while, but I'm going to go in here and share. There we are, live. I see us live and in living color right there. And already we've got people joining us, so welcome on. I'm going to share this out with a few peeps and a few groups, and then we will get the show started officially. So we're going to talk about some live video stuff, which of course that's what we're doing right now is live video. So, all right, and I'm going to share this first off, Steve, to the Online Video Marketers group. Which, by the way, if you're not a member of that, be sure to join it. It's facebook.com/groups/online video marketers, and people go there to share their videos and get other people to watch them and stuff so that you get more views. And we're going to start to use that a little more, I think, because it's been kind of neglected, just kind of sad.
Yeah.
So we'll get to use that a little bit more. All right, let's share it to a couple more places, and then we'll get this show on the road. Or off the road.
Powered by Movo.
Powered by Movo. We'll talk about that in a second, too. The show is now powered by Movo. We'll explain that. Let's see here. We're going to share it to this one. And then...
Is that an old 16mm camera behind you?
Why, yes it is, Steve.
Is it reflex or does it have a viewfinder?
I can show it to you in a minute before we get started if you want. It has no actual viewfinder.
Yeah, so it's reflex. Yeah, okay.
And I'll show you what that means for everybody who's wondering. So I'm going to share this to the to one of our pages here, and you shared it to the VMM page, Steve.
I did indeed.
Woot woot! I love that they ask me if I want to put a button on it. No, I don't want to put a button on it. I just want to get it out there. All right, I can see that we're starting to get some more peeps on here. So let me just share to this one last page, and then we will get started with more of the action. There we go. Yeah, so I'll show you guys the little 16 mils over here. It's a little brownie is what it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, so, no viewfinder. It literally has just a physical hole that you look through, and it has the frame in there, and it gives you the markings on the frame. So I have no idea if it works. It's obviously really old, and actually this one's only an 8mm, not a 16. But yeah, it's got the little winder on the side. Like I said, no idea if it works.
We had a bunch of 16mm in college for film class that we used, and they were pretty old at that time. So
yeah. Well, I did notice one thing that it does though. Is it cleans a nice little square from all the dust. When I put it back there, I noticed that.
Ooh.
So I have one nice clean square up there. Probably have two circles as well. All right, so that's the shelves. So, and by the way, before we get started, you may notice things look a little different because that brownie has been up there for the entire time that we've been doing the show in this office and probably in the last one too. But now you can see it, and the reason is I've switched to a standing desk after all this time, and the one back here is also a standing desk. If you're listening to this, you're going, what the heck is this guy talking about? Of course, I guess this wouldn't be in the final listening thing, so only the live people are hearing this anyway. But so now I can raise both of these up or lower both of them down so that the screen can always be in my camera shot, and the camera is actually attached to the desk. So the microphone, the camera, the desks all go down, and they all go up. And that one will match it so that we can have a nice image. But I love the fact that we've got the higher angle now because we can see the RVG and we can see the little podcasting medallion over there. So the on-the-air medallion. So very cool. I like it. Mm-hmm. And speaking of all that, and we'll talk about this in the show too, but as Steve said, on the screen it says powered by Movo, and that is truer than it's ever been. Let me get rid of these stupid things. I don't need them right now. So Movo actually sent me 2 broadcast studio microphones, and we've been using a very high-end, very expensive RE20 in here for the last 2 years or so. and Movo sent me this one. So if you hear a difference, this microphone has been set up, but it hasn't been tuned up. So if it sounds a little different, that's why we do have to. I have to get the smart audio people to readjust for this microphone, because all the levels and things are set up for the other one, and you know, all I do is mess things up if I touch them. So, but we do have the new microphone in here, and to my untrained ear, I couldn't really tell the difference between the two. They both sounded pretty good for that. But the one difference, Steve, that I really do like is this microphone is much like the Movo microphone, the UMC 700, which is kind of like the Yeti, is that you talk into it like this, you know, from the front, versus the RE20 was one that you would point to yourself. And the pickup pattern is in the front of this one too. So what that means is I can actually have that microphone right here, and it's kind of facing me like this, and it's nice the way that it kind of hangs down, because it's on the arm, but it comes down like this and faces forward. So it's nice. But yeah, just a couple of little differences, and that's why, powered by Movo, I had a meeting with Movo, as I think I've mentioned on here before, a couple weeks ago, and we talked a lot about different things, and they've sent us some products, and so now we are officially powered by Movo. That does not mean that they're a sponsor. It just means that they have provided the equipment that we use. So now the microphone is equipment we use. You can see all of the other side, all of the boxes over there of all the other equipment. So the camera is mounted on a Movo stand. We got the Movo UM700 down here, which is just, I was playing with that earlier. And then we got the broadcast mic up here, which, well, I'd bring it down. I've actually got it... I've got it going through the middle of the ring light, Steve.
Oh.
So fancy stuff. So I can't really, I don't know if I can pull it down and you can see it, or it's going to mess with the light. Yeah, it's going to mess with the light right now if I do that. So
that's fine.
I don't want to knock that over. But that's a nice little broadcast microphone with a screen on it, windscreen. So really cool. But yes, now we are powered by Movo. But enough of that. We should probably get into the show, because we're already 8 minutes past and the official show has not started. We're going to talk about steps to effective live videos. So Steve, if you're ready, we'll do the old County Downy and do the theme song and all that kind of fun stuff.
Okay, do it.
Me, you, us. In 5, 4, 3. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about 5 steps that will help you to have effective live videos. And today's episode is powered by Movo. That's right. We are now officially going to be saying that every single week, powered by Movo. And today's episode is also made possible by Movo. And you can get a setup for yourself for any type of video or audio production. And that includes things like microphones and lights and stands, different types of microphones. We got wireless, keep pointing the wrong way, wireless microphones. We got shotgun microphones that stick right on the top of your camera or your smartphone. We've got the broadcast microphone that we're using today. We've also got the little USB microphone here, the UMC 700. Just a ton of Movo stuff in here. We got lights that are made by Movo, and all of this brought to you by the wonderful people over there who make all of this possible by selling all these great products. So if you're ready to get a lapel mic for your shooting outdoors, if you're ready to get a little mini shotgun microphone for the top of your camera, if you're ready for a broadcast microphone, Movo has it all, and you can check them out right now by heading to raiselinks.com/Movo, M-O-V-O. And we're also giving away a Movo portable video production pack. And if you go for that, you will get not only one of those little shotgun microphones for the top of your camera, but you will also get the PR1 stand that holds, you can handheld with your phone on top of it. So you stick your phone on top of the hand holder, and then you stick your microphone on top of that. And if you're watching, instead of listening, I'm doing all sorts of hand gestures right now, but it allows you to have a full production studio that you can take with you anywhere, and quite literally everything fits in your pocket. The PR1 holder, that fits in your pocket. The shotgun microphone will fit right in your pocket, and of course your phone already fits in your pocket, so you can have all of that ready to go, so you can get great sound anywhere you want. And even though we love lapel mics, you don't have to worry about using a wireless lapel mic. You don't have to worry about having wires that are running. This is a nice shotgun microphone you stick on there, and boom, you can shoot all around and get anybody at any time and pick up great audio at the same time. So if you want to win this package so that you can produce great audio, well, and great video, all you have to do is head on over to raiselinks.com/Movo contest. And when you get there, you just put in your name and you'll be entered to win. We're going to have the drawing on the 15th. So be ready for that. And by the way, once you're there, you put your name in there, you can actually get extra entries into the contest by inviting friends to join and by visiting our YouTube channel and visiting our Facebook page and a few other things as well. So get involved, have greater chance of winning, and do it now because, well, it's already the 10th. We only got 5 days left. 5 days. So jump on in on that to win that great package. All right, that's the longest intro we've ever had. Let's hit the song. Here we go.
Okay.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
And it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the video guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. Go VMM, our homepage. Get social, get the podcatchers. Leave us a review on Apple Podcast, even though Ray doesn't use it anymore.
Well, at least temporarily.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. They got to write a patch for it on the iPhones or something.
I think it's only my iPhone. Nobody else seems to have the issue. I've asked a lot of people, and it seems to just be me for some reason.
Wow. Huh.
Maybe the next update. For whatever reason, for those of you wondering what I'm talking about, because I love my Apple products. I love them. No, what's happened is, for whatever reason, if I turn on Apple Podcasts, start listening to podcasts, my phone gets really hot, and the battery drains like a nightmare. And once I turn that off, then everything goes back to normal. And now my battery, without that, again, lasts about 2 days instead of, 3 hours. So whatever podcast was doing was sucking it down. And it seems like the Maps program is doing it too. So Maps and podcasts seem to heat up the phone and suck the battery. And it just one day started happening. I don't know why. Never did it before, and all of a sudden it started.
Any security software or anything on it? Or?
No, I don't think it's anything like that. I don't know what it is. Some sort of bug introduced there somewhere. But hopefully the next patch next update will fix all that. In fact, it may even be fixed now. Who knows? I haven't used it in a while. I've been using an alternative podcasting application, which has worked nice. It's worked just as good.
Sure.
So, but any case, point being is you want to get our videos and our audios. All you have to do is go to all your favorite podcast places or go to YouTube, and you'll be able to check all of this out and have a little fun and learning. We're going to learn you at the same time. Hopefully have some fun. Sometimes we have fun. We'll see. And speaking of having fun, by the way, I've got we don't do guests very often. We used to do them a lot. We don't do guests very often. One, we had an issue. We tried to get Owen Video on, and there was a tech disaster, and so we got to reschedule him and get him on. But we also have another guest I want to bring on, Steve, and I think it's going to be really exciting. It's a guy here locally that he had lost his job when COVID came and everything else, and so he started doing Pokemon trading cards, and the game and the, trading the cards back and forth on YouTube. And he does a little Pokemon YouTube show where he opens Pokemon stuff and everything else. And he's already replaced his income with that in this short period of time. And when I looked at his channel and whatnot, it's not like he has 1 billion subscribers and, billions of views, but he still replaced his income with this. And so that's why I want to have him on to talk about, hey, you know what did you do and why is it working? And, imagine if you did have 1 million subscribers and what that could turn into. So, it's exciting stuff.
He hit the algorithm, and it's probably more about hitting the algorithm than subscribers, assuming you got at least 1,000 subscribers. So.
Yep. Well, and the other thing too, and I don't remember how many. I looked at his thing. I don't recall what it was, but the other thing. YouTube-wise, I don't know if you noticed this or not, Steve, but YouTube changed their terms of service, and whatnot, which I only know because they sent me about 5 emails a day, every day for about 2 weeks that said, there's an update to our terms of service. Yeah, okay, guys, thank you. This is the 5th one today. I get it. I literally just nonstop getting the exact same email about how they'd updated this. Well, one of the things that they updated, because I did look at it, was if you are not monetizing your channel, running ads, that even if you didn't plan on having ads running, well, they reserve the right to just run ads on anything now anyway. And by the way, I chose on most of my channels to not run ads because a lot of it is stuff that, I just want people to be able to watch, and hopefully I can drive them to, my page. If I want to sell something, they can buy it from there. But I noticed that my stuff is having ads run on it. So I'm like, well, you can't beat them. You got to join them. So I've gone and set up monetization on my stuff now on some of it. So if people are watching and they see those ads on there, I apologize, but maybe we'll make a few pennies off of that as opposed to YouTube themselves. So, and I think people are so used to the commercials running on them now that probably doesn't bug people too much. So.
The only time it ever bugs me is like when I'm looking for a how-to video because I'm trying to fix something really fast, and then up comes an ad. It's like, thanks,
Yeah. And what would be good too is if you're going to set up ads on there because of that, and I recommend you do. You have to meet their qualifications in order to do it. But if you do set up the ads, when you publish your videos and you want to run ads on them, you can choose to just have the little banner ad. And if you don't want to annoy the crap out of people with a pre-roll video or whatever, if you choose the banner ads, that'll keep, that'll get you a few pennies, keep YouTube happy, and not distract people as much. So you can do that if you want, and that'll help out. In the past, we used to use ads to run ads on our own videos, believe it or not. So I would set up a video, I would run an ad targeting my videos, and then put the clickable banner from the ad in my own video. So as I'm talking about things, my ad would show up on there, and that would be the only ad that would show up, and they would click on it. And so you can start doing some of those types of things again. We kind of stopped doing that when they had clickable, when they had the clickable links in the videos, but then they killed that as well. So constant change. The only thing that doesn't change is change. And speaking of that, speaking of change, we talked about this in the little pre-show warm-up, but you may notice we've changed things around here if you're watching on video. I've switched to a standing desk, finally, and getting used to it. Now, Steve, do you know the reason why I switched to a standing desk?
So we could show the RVG behind you?
No, that's a side benefit, which is good. If you're watching on video, and if I switch over to just me, you can see I've got my big RVG letters up there that you never saw before because the desk was so low. And that's a good benefit of it and something that was intentional. But no, the big reason was that other desk was so rickety that whenever we shot videos and stuff, if I touched the desk, the camera would shake all around, and we didn't want that anymore. So I knew it was time to get a new one, and I said, well, you know what? If I get a standing desk, then I can decide whether, if I hate standing, I can always put it down low. And, so that's why we did it. But we got the standing desk for here. What's that?
Let me ask, how low can you go?
I can go pretty low.
Okay.
All the way to the flow?
Flow.
I don't know. We'll see. But no, I got the standing desk here, and the one behind me, if you're watching, is also a standing desk. So if I lower this desk, which is kind of cool, is my microphone goes down with it, the camera goes down with it, and then the back one goes down, and the TV goes down with that. So we can be shooting while sitting and still get basically the same look, except we won't get the RVG and all that. But we can just go down with both and get back to work.
That's pretty cool.
Indeed. All right. So today we wanted to, we're already 19 minutes in here, 20 minutes in, so we better get ourselves moving here. We're going to talk about live video and how to use it effectively. We got a few different techniques and steps that will help you along the way. And of course, if you're listening in the podcast form, we actually do this as a live video on Facebook every single week when we do the show. And kind of, we stole, Steve, I was thinking about this the other day. We may be the first podcasters to do the simultaneous video audio thing. We may be the first ones that did it. I don't know of any other shows that were doing that back when we started. Now, admittedly, we stole it from Howard Stern and Don Imus, who were doing that kind of thing, the behind-the-scenes video, but they were doing it on TV. But I think we were one of the first podcast shows to do that. I don't know of any others that were doing it back in the day. So,
wow,
could be. I don't know of any. I could be wrong, but there you go. Nobody cares that we were one of the first, but we may have indeed been one of the first, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah. It is.
That and $10 will get you half a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
That's right.
So, but yeah, so we do this live every single week. And so we want to talk a little bit about how you can improve your live videos. And by the way, some of these things I'm going to talk about are the things that I need to work on as well, because I don't do all of these things properly or effectively, and I need to get better at doing them. And the first one Steve will laugh at and nod about, because he knows this one is absolutely true. The first thing that you really want to do is you want to have a schedule and be consistent. And for years we had been, but with crazy things that have been going on in the last year, we've missed a lot of shows. We've done them on different days. We've changed days. We've moved it hours around because we had to on this week and back on the next week and missed this week. And, you know, it's been a madhouse the last year. But one of the best things that you can do for your live videos is to be consistent. Now, in our case, Steve, I don't feel nearly as bad with this show, because this one here is not a live show. It's a podcast where we just happen to record it live and let people watch in. So we can go anytime we want. We don't officially have a time. You know, we used to do it every Friday at 2. Now we do it every Thursday at 2. But, you know, we can go do it. We can do it on a Saturday afternoon if we want to. So I don't feel too bad about it, except that we always tell people to join us Thursdays at 2. And if things get moved around, then we're not there. But, you know, we probably want to be consistent with that. We want to really probably start to sell this as a live show as much as a podcast. But realistically, this is a podcast where we just happen to do a live behind the scenes.
You could put something in your emails.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I do. It's in my emails. In fact, you know what, Steve? I think my emails at the bottom, it talks about it. I think it probably still says Fridays. So I'll have to look at that and make a change.
Okay.
I'll have to look at that and see. But yeah, so consistency is the first thing that you really want to think about, because you want to build an audience over time. And if an audience knows that you come on every Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning, then they're going to start showing up. They're going to look forward to, oh, Johnny Smith just went live, and click on that and go. So having some sort of a set schedule is going to help you out immensely. But make sure you do something that you can really keep. You know, you don't want to say, oh, we're going to go live every single day at 10 o'clock. And then, you know, 2 weeks in, you can only be there Mondays, and the rest of the week, you can't even do it. So be realistic. You know, you don't need to go live every day. Some people only need to go live once a month, twice a month. But once a week, to me, I think is pretty good. If you can do once a week, that's good. For the escape room, I'm working very hard at kind of, you know, sorting that out, because I do go live for the escape rooms sometimes every day. You know, sometimes every day. And I do it just like this. The TV in the background that you see now, if you're seeing that, actually switches to, say, Impossible Escape. And, you know, I do the live video right from here. Sometimes I do it with my phone, and I'll be off showing something inside the escape room or outside the escape room. But for the most part, I do it right here in this exact same studio, and I just change the look. Well, actually, I've got if you notice, the background, Steve, is blue right now instead of red, because I forgot to change it back to our red and orange colors. But this morning I was shooting for Instant Spokesperson, one of my programs, and that's blue and yellow, which is why you see blue in the background and yellow on that strip behind my head there. But, you know, we go live right from here. We just change things up, and boom, we just go, and it'll be all about the escape room. And so what do I go live about? Well, on Mondays, I'll usually go live and talk about what's going on for that week. And most of the time I'll do a puzzle of the day, which is kind of a pain in the neck, to be honest, but I think it's kind of cool, and people like that. So we'll do some sort of brain teaser, and if they answer it, they get a free ticket, that kind of thing. If they're the first to get it right, they get a free ticket. And then on Tuesdays, we talk about what's going on that day, which is our family night. Wednesdays, we talk about the food giveaways. So people donate food for the local, what's the word I'm looking for, Steve? Food pantry. So they bring in food for the food pantry, and we donate that out. And then on Thursdays, I'll talk about a different subject. Maybe I'll talk about a room. And then Fridays, we'll do the same. And I don't do it on the weekends, because you never know when I'll be here. So I try to do that most days somewhere around 5 o'clock. But I need to be more consistent and have people expect it. Get a production schedule down so that you know. I was watching our good friend Owen video yesterday, and he was talking about some things like this too. And he was talking about that consistency, how to get your schedule to where it needs to be. And he's talking about your live schedule. So know when you're going to go live. Make sure you plan in your preparation for it. So if you know you go live on Mondays, have your prep be on Fridays so that by Monday you've got everything there and boom, you're ready to go. So just make sure you plan all of that out. Plan it in chunks. We like to plan in chunks and bunches and work it out that way. So that's the first tip.
That's an unusual last name video.
It sure is. He used to have a different last name. I wonder what happened.
I don't know. Is that Yugoslavian or something?
It could be. It might be Russian. Video. Or in video.
On video.
So, but yeah, that's the big thing. Be consistent. Have a schedule. Let people know when you're there. And one of the great things about Facebook, which, again, we never use and we need to start using, is you can, and I'll tell you why I don't do this very often afterwards. I mean, I really should. You can actually schedule in Facebook the time you're going to go live, and it'll post on Tuesday. It'll say, so-and-so going live Friday at 2 o'clock, and it'll show you a countdown. And it'll keep going with that so that day and time when they show up on your page to watch that live video, it's going to show the countdown right to when you start. And what that does is that helps with a couple of things. One, it gets people prepared, gets them into the room on time, lets them know ahead of time when it's coming, and you don't have to do what most of us do in the live video field, and that is have that little countdown thing or music playing at the beginning. So that's what I typically do is I put up a screen that says, whatever's starting soon, and then it plays music, and then we come in and we have to, waste 30 seconds doing that. If you got that done, you don't have to worry about any of that. It starts and you just go, boom, hey, we're live. All right, here we go. And what's great about that is for the replays, they don't have to sit through 2 minutes of blank screen saying coming soon, because your replay is going to have that as well. So if you set that up, you're not going to have to do that. Again, something I need to work on, but definitely something that it can be very effective. And it's one of those do as I say, not as I do. Unfortunately, I've got to get better at that. And we will. We'll get better at that.
Yeah.
Now that we're more consistent and everything. Things are getting back to normal. So hopefully it'll be a lot more consistent anyway. So that's the first thing. All right, the next thing is your audio. Come on, guys. It's 2021. You got to have good audio. People will watch even bad video, or heck, you could have just a screen up there that just says your name, and if you got good audio, people will still listen to it. But if you've got bad audio, they're going to turn away and they're going to turn it off. Even if you've got nice video and terrible audio, turns people off. And this is one of the biggest pet peeves, and it drives me crazy. I see sales videos for $1 million products that we know are going to sell $1 million and do sell $1 million, and the person in the video standing and introducing themselves at the beginning sounds like this because they're using the on-camera microphone instead of a real microphone. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing worse than that, and it sounds hollow and tinny and whatever. And I mean, heck, I might sound that way a little today because I haven't optimized my microphone. But usually they sound much, much worse than that anyway. And so that's a big, big thing. So how do you fix that? Well, you can fix that in a number of ways. One, if in my case here, I've got an iMac. I probably am not going to use the built-in microphones on there. They're actually fairly good, and in the newest ones, they're even better. But to really be effective with that, you've got to get right in there on those microphones, and of course the camera's right next to it, so you'd have your nose in the camera. But get an external microphone. The Movo lapel mics that we have right here, the lavaliers, they cost $18. Head on over to raiselinks.com/Movo and search up LV1. It's an $18 lavalier microphone. It's got a big long wire, so you don't even have to worry about being tethered too closely to your phone. Go check it out, pick it up. For $18, you are going to vastly improve your audio. In fact, I prefer that $18 lavalier microphone. I prefer it over some of these other fancier big shotgun microphones and such, because that microphone's right there. It's 4 inches away from your mouth. It's going to pick you up. It's going to sound 1,000 times better. And I love wireless mics as well, but wireless mics, they have issues that you have to deal with as well. And with this, it's wired. Unless you're walking around the town and it's going to interfere, there's no reason to pay for a wireless microphone. Get an $18 lavalier microphone from Movo, or PowerDwise is another company that we've worked with that they make a great little microphone as well, lavalier microphone. Any of those are going to make a huge difference. You can also go with, one of these desktop ones. Like I've got one right here. I'm going to unplug it this time so I don't knock everything over. If you're watching, this one here is a Movo UM700. Okay, beautiful microphone. Looks similar to some other microphones. The Blue Yeti is a great one. And we talked about microphones in a past episode, so go back and take a listen to that where we talk all about the microphones. But the Yeti is great. The Blue Snowball is great. Samson makes a great one. Shure makes a good one. So there's a lot of different desktop USB microphones that don't cost a fortune and will make a huge difference. I think the UM700 is like $90 or something. I think the Yeti right now, depending on which model you get, they've got a few models now, probably 120 to 150 bucks. I think the XLR one's a little more, but most people don't need that. But it's going to make a big difference. And then, of course, if you want to do studio microphones, which is what we have here, we had the RE20. We've replaced it with a new Movo one, which literally I just installed, so it hasn't even been optimized yet. But these will make a big, big difference to the quality of your audio. And quite honestly, even if you don't use them correctly, they're still going to sound better than the built-in one. I've got another camera over here. It's the C920. It's got a microphone in there. I wouldn't use that microphone either. So. Yeah. But you got to improve that microphone. So that's our next tip in there, is improving that microphone. Get a new one. Get it in there. All right. Next one would be the camera. And we did have a big episode about cameras back when I switched around. And you've got a lot of options here. Now, in my iMac over here, it's got a built-in, it's a 720p camera. Okay? The new iMacs have 1080p cameras in them, I believe. I think they do. In fact, this one here might even be a 1080 one, because this is the iMac Pro. They may have put a 1080 in this one. I don't really use it, so I don't recall. But even a nice 720p camera is not going to be bad. We've got the C920 here. I've got a couple of C920s. Those are really good for an inexpensive web camera. They're very, very nice. 1080p. You can go and get them at Best Buy. You throw them on there, and you're going to have a much, much better picture than if you're just using the built-in on most laptops or desktop machines. You can use a DSLR. Now, I'll admit, I didn't like using the DSLR much at all. I tried. I've got a Canon DSLR. The software Canon has to turn them into webcams is not great. It left these big bars on the side, and then you had to zoom in on them, and it was very weird. And I think it would only do 720p on the camera that I had, even though it had, it's a 1080 camera. It's an older Canon that I just had lying around. I figured I'd use it as a webcam. It's going to be better than, anything else theoretically. But yeah, it only let me do 720, and then you had to zoom in on it because it had these bars on the side, and it just wasn't a good experience. So I decided to not do that. I also have the Movo camera. And the Movo camera is okay for this too. You can use that as a webcam now, and that did okay. It's a little wide. I didn't, you have to zoom in if you don't want it to be super wide, but that was okay. It gave me, probably the quality on that was similar to the C920. But what I ended up switching to is my iPhone. I tested all those cameras, and by far, not even close, the iPhone gave the best picture. Now, what do I mean by best picture? I still look like me either way. No matter which camera I used, I still look like me. But when I used the C920, there would be, bright, like glowing highlights here and dark shadows here, and it just didn't look pleasing. It was very harsh. And I switched to the iPhone, and everything blended. Like my skin tones were nice and medium. Nothing was super, super glowing white hot, and nothing was super dark and shadowy. So it made a big difference. Made a big, big difference. We do have, speaking of our good buddies, powered by Movo. Did I mention we're powered by Movo?
Yes, you did.
Oh, good. So,
but you can never say that too often.
That's right. You can never say powered by Movo more than enough.
Powered by Movo.
We are Movo powered. But Movo actually has a webcam coming out, which is interesting because I don't think they've ever done a camera before. That's not exactly true. Actually, no, it is true. The other one was not a camera. It was attached to your phone. I believe this is the first time they've done any kind of camera, but they're creating a webcam with a studio microphone in the webcam, and so it'd be similar to the studio microphone we're using here, except it would be right on the camera, and it's a 4K camera. They have a 1080p version too, but why do that nowadays? So I did buy into that one. So most of the stuff I get from Movo, they provide it for us to test out and to use. But this one, it was a Kickstarter, and I jumped in and bought it as a Kickstarter to support them on that. That should be coming in August, but I heard the 1080p ones are coming out this month. So maybe the 4K one will be even sooner. So we'll see. Is that going to be just as good as the iPhone? We'll find out.
We'll see. Now, mentioning iPhone, this is a nice segue. What software do you use to interface your iPhone app?
Well, it's a funny story there, Steve, isn't it?
Yeah. But it works now, doesn't it?
It does. Well, it always did.
Okay.
Let me tell you the story with this. So, to use your iPhone as a webcam, you do have to have a software on there that will allow you to do that. And there may be more than one. I'm not sure. But the one that I picked up was one called Camo Studio, C-A-M-O. And what it is it's an app for your phone, and it's an app that you run on your computer to interface with your phone. And in this case here, it is wired, so you actually plug your phone in. Which is good because sometimes the wireless stuff, you never know when you're going to get, your Wi-Fi is going to go down or anything like that. So this is a wired solution, and it turns your iPhone into a camera. And what happened was we were having all sorts of tech issues, and they just happened to coincide with when I started using Camo. And so I made a comment, I think, it might have been on the show. Was it on the show? I think it was on the show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And I just made a comment that, we started using this Camo thing, and then we had these issues, so I stopped using it, thinking maybe that was the cause. Well, guess who was listening to the show? The creator of Camo was listening to the show at the time, and I think he was a little offended that we said that. But again, I didn't mean to say that was the issue. All I was saying was it could be the issue. It could have been an issue because it happened right after we did that. It wasn't the issue. It absolutely wasn't. I've been using Camo ever since. It is a tremendous program. It works very, very well. I love it. I'm a paid user for it. So the owner, and I don't know Steve, do you know the owner's name? I'm not sure.
John Camo.
I think you're making that up. But in any case, if you're out there today, and maybe you've run away screaming from us, I don't know. But if you're out there today, it was not Camo. We love Camo. I was just trying to eliminate it at the time as something new that we had added that potentially could have been causing an issue. Because you always want to get rid of it. What did you do different? Well, we added Camo and but we added other things too. That wasn't the only thing that we added. So the thought was maybe that was one of the problems. So we eliminated it, but it works fine. We're using it right now. So
yeah.
Works great.
And if you're watching the video, either the live Facebook or the YouTube, look at Ray and then look at me. And I've got a Logitech C920. It's fine for me, but I'm not Ray the video guy either.
That's right. Dang right you're not.
But
know your role.
Everything Ray was talking about, you can see the difference in the two cameras. Ray's colors are richer and deeper. I look a little washed out. I got some hot spots on my face and stuff. But
you've also got a very even lighting throughout the room, which helps. Whereas I've got like the studio lighting, so that really was accentuated because it's literally a ring light pointed at me. And before I used to have a key and a fill light instead of a ring light, and so with the C920, you would really see that hot side where that light would hit.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the blinds open. If I close that, you wouldn't have that hot spot right here, but whatever. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, but you got to have a nice camera. Get something decent. It doesn't cost much. The C920, we're not putting it down. I've used it for years. It's a beautiful camera. It really is. You can get one, and the sad thing is that camera is, it's so old now, and they still sell it because it's so popular that even in these years of 4K and 8K, they still sell a ton of them. You can go get one right now in Best Buy, I can almost guarantee. They've also got the C922, which is a little update to that. I didn't like that one as much. That one was wider, I think.
Or is it? Okay.
Or maybe it was the opposite way around. I think it was too wide. Anyway, they changed the focal length, and I didn't like the focal length of that particular one. So that's why I've stuck with these C920s, and they work great. I still use one right here. So don't be afraid to use that old C920. Very good little camera for you.
The average guy, unless I was to point out the difference between the two cameras, you to me, I don't know that the average guy is going to see it. And if it's just you on a live video, I think you'll be fine.
Absolutely.
I am intrigued that Ray's able to use his iPhone because got a great camera in it, and the software, and he finally got that to work. But you know what I'm saying.
Yep. No, it worked great. And Camo worked great right from the start. It was just something was going on in the system somewhere. I don't even remember what the issue ended up being.
Wasn't it in the Mac?
It was. It actually was in the graphics card that Mac uses. Because it had a special encoder inside there, and there was something buggy about that encoder. There was some sort of a software conflict with that encoder, and other people had mentioned it. And so we turned off the encoder, and boom, everything went back to normal and worked fine. So
cool.
All right, so the next thing we want to talk about is software. Okay, so you've got your schedule, you got your microphone, you got your decent camera. Well, now you got to talk about the software that you're going to use, and there's a lot out there. So I'm not going to get too specific into the actual softwares that you can use because there's a ton of them out there that are really, really good. And basically what they do is they interface you with whatever live place you're going to. So for instance, Facebook or YouTube. If you're going to go live to those places, you often need to have software that helps you to do that. Now, there are some built-in things. So your phone, if you're using your phone and you're going live on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, you can just do it. You don't have to worry too much about that. And there are some things built in with the desktop where you can kind of do it. But to really get in there and do something interesting, you've got to have a good software that's going to help you to interface with that. And so what am I talking about? Well, if you're watching us on video right now, we actually have Steve and I in two windows with a background behind it. We've got the date and the time on top. We've got our logo on top. We've got a crawler on the bottom telling you what's going on in the world of video. It looks like you're watching CNN except for the pretty people on the screen. They're much uglier, unfortunately, for CNN. But no, the point being is we've got all of that in here, and we can do all sorts of things like lower thirds, which, by the way, we have our names on the screen as well. We can add animations in there. We can switch to videos. We can play songs. We can do all these different things. You need software in order to do that. And the software that we use for this is called Mimo Live, M-I-M-O, which stands for Multi-Input, Multi-Output. So that's what Mimo stands for in Mimo Live. Otherwise, it would be a very silly sounding name. Yeah. Not to mention confusing because the software is Mimo, we're powered by Movo, and we got a Mevo camera. Go figure.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you what.
As we make our movies. So anyway, so Mimo Live, it is like having a studio right inside your computer here because I can have multiple camera angles and multiple cameras. I can talk to people remotely like Steve's in another state. We're able to do this together. We got all the graphics. We can do intros. We can do outros. We can do credit rolls. All of that is built into the software. And it used to be a very expensive software, but now you can do it. They sell it monthly for $19. So $19 a month. It's Mac only, so you got to have a Mac, and you're gonna, you don't want to pull out a 2002 iBook and try to do it. It's not going to work for you. You got to have, a little bit of beef behind it, and the more beef you have in that computer, the more you can do with it. So you might have a weaker laptop. You'll still be able to do it, but you might not be able to have 80 layers of things going on. Like even on this show here, by the way, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 layers of stuff. One of which is the song, which is not even on right now, and one of which is the title screen that we don't have on right now. So while we're doing this whole show, we only have 7 layers, and half of them are probably not necessary to do a great show. You don't need to have the date and time and the logo at the top in order to do that. You don't need to have a streaming ticker on the bottom in order to do a show. So if you got a Mac and you want to have what I think, quite honestly, sorry, StreamYard and all these other ones and Restream and everything else, this to me is the best streaming software that I've ever used. Outside of possibly if you're going to go like the with the NewTek TriCaster, which is a very expensive hardware-based solution, which can do a lot of stuff. But this does pretty much all the same things with the TriCaster. If you want to spend $10,000 on the equipment, you can have all sorts of cameras plugged in through professional connections and things, which you can still do with a lot of the software-based ones, but not nearly as effectively. But there's a lot of great softwares out there. StreamYard does that. Restream is another one that does that. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones that we don't use very often. What's that?
OBS Studio.
Well, I was going to get into OBS last, and and we'll say why there. I believe what's the other one is Ecamm, I think, is another one. So there's a bunch of them out there. They're going to do this for you. They're going to allow you to stream out to those locations. They're going to add your graphics and your transitions. They may not do everything and do tons and tons of things, but they will do a lot of cool stuff. Many of them, including this one here, has the ability for you to show people's comments live on the video. So you can literally be talking, people can be leaving comments on Facebook and they'll show up on the screen. And this one does that as well. I don't really use it very often, but a lot of the softwares will have that feature, which is actually very cool. But yeah, that's the type of thing that you want to get. Now, if you want to get started nice and free, we're going to talk about what Steve mentioned, which is OBS Studio, the Open Broadcaster. OBS Studio is the program that you want. What is it? obs.org, I believe, is the website.
I think it's org. Yeah, I'm almost positive.
But just search OBS. It's going to pop up. It's everywhere. People use it all over the world. It's become as ubiquitous as Zoom has become. So what OBS does is exactly what we're talking about here. It will connect with Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're going live to. It'll stream out your camera, and if you've got other camera angles and you got graphics, it's a little bit primitive. I'll admit it's a little bit primitive, but you can do all of these little things in there, and it's completely free, has been from the beginning. And when live video first started with Facebook and whatnot, it was when Facebook started doing live that this really started to kick in. OBS became the big deal, and they started to add a lot more features, and it was the only thing in town really, other than pretty expensive softwares. So a lot of people used OBS right at the beginning. For instance, us using Mimo Live, it was called that before live video was really a thing. This was used for live productions. And so, for instance, you brought this to a basketball, you brought your computer to a basketball game, and you broadcast it live there and put it up on the monitors, or put it out onto TV or whatever. And now most people use it to stream out live because that's become the big popular thing. But the software is a huge part of all of that. So, all right, so the last thing, the fifth thing that we want to talk about for effective live videos is your content itself. You need to have good content that people are actually going to enjoy listening to, watching, hearing, interacting with, etc. If you don't have good content, it doesn't matter if you're on time. It doesn't matter if you have good microphones. It doesn't matter if you have good cameras. It doesn't matter if you have the best broadcasting software ever put on the face of the earth. If you don't have content people want to watch or see, they're not going to show up. Okay? And you got to understand your niche. Now, Steve and I, we talk literally about video marketing specifically for things like local businesses and whatnot, and not exactly going to get 300 million people watching that. So you got to curb your expectations as well. If you're a local plumber in Hoboken, New Jersey, you can't expect that you're going to have millions of people watching your live videos. However, what's more important, getting 1 million people watching your live videos from across the country where you can't really do anything, or 100 people in and around Hoboken who can call you and actually use your services, right? So know your audience and provide what they need. So if you are in a certain niche, just understand that niche may have a certain limit. The Pokemon YouTube channel we talked about earlier, Pokemon's going to have a much bigger base than people talking specifically about lapel microphones. It's just going to. So you got to understand that going into it. You got to prepare your content so that that smaller audience really wants to come and watch and see what you do, because that's really what you want out of this. Is you want your audience to be consistent and eventually buy things from you. Or if you're running your podcast specifically for advertising revenue, you need to keep those numbers up. So you need to provide good content. So prepare. Know what you're going to talk about in advance. Do a little bit of research. Now, admittedly, once you know the subject, for instance, here on this show, I don't need to spend 3 days preparing to talk about what microphone is best when you're out on the street shooting, because I've been doing it for 40 years. Okay, maybe not 40. I've been doing it for 30 years, 25 years.
You were 5 years old when you started?
Exactly, right? So I've been doing this for a couple decades. So if somebody wants to have me talk about, lapel microphones, I can talk to you all day about them, because it's something I've used and I understand and I've sold and everything else. But if you're going to get into an intricate subject, just make sure that you understand it, learn about it, prepare, know what you're going to do. And, once you get good at it, it's going to become a lot easier. It's going to take a lot less prep to do all these things. And if you're going to be having guests, you need to make sure you got your guests lined up. You got to make sure you prepare your guests, that they know what's going to be happening. So there's a lot of things that you want to do to make sure that when you go live, everything goes well. Now, is it always going to go well? No. On this show, we do pretty good. We don't have many major issues. And we've had tech issues where we just couldn't go live, and we had to record privately or whatever and just put up the podcast. There's things that happen like that. The power will go out or whatever. But for the most part, as far as as long as everything's working, we don't have some sort of power outage or tech issue or what have you, we can do all this without having really any issues. It's easy for us at this point. Now, I will tell you this. When I do my escape room show for the escape rooms, I screw that up all the time. And the reason for that is I am the technical director and I'm the talent on the air. And when I'm doing that show, it's a video show, so there's a lot more going on. So I start that show and I come on. First, we have the little music playing and it says coming soon, which we talked about. We addressed that issue earlier. And when we go live, I jump in there and I'm like, hey, this is Ray over at the escape room. Well, guess what? When I've got that pre-show rolling with the music and all that, I turn my microphone off. You don't know how many times I've gone on there and said, hey, it's Ray here. Oh, I didn't turn my microphone on. Hold on. Boop. Oh, hey, now I'm here with the microphone. So I make that mistake all the time. Not necessarily that mistake, but those types of mistakes all the time. You just have to get used to it, and it's tough to get used to sometimes because you got to be pressing buttons over here and using the mouse over here, and then talking, making sure you're looking into the camera over here, and making sure the content is flowing, and that nothing's going wrong. And like I've got this TV behind me here, if you're watching on video, that has different things on it. For the escape room show, it has the escape room logo, but when I do the puzzle of the day, I have to reach out to my keyboard, press a button on there, which switches what's in the monitor to show the puzzle of the day. But of course, if I'm not looking, I might miss the button, so I have to look down, So it takes a lot to do those kinds of things. But, you get used to them after a while. You get better and better at it. And quite honestly, who cares, if you make little mistakes? The point is, if you've got good content and you've got it prepared and people want to listen to it, they're going to forgive you for pressing the wrong button or making some minor mistake. It's not a big deal at all. And, don't be afraid of it either. I'll come back on and go, hey, I forgot to turn on the microphone again, but now we're ready to go. People understand that, and people like the fact that, it's natural. If you've ever watched any of those clips on YouTube where the news people screw up, and, it's a disaster when they make little mistakes because they are so poised and they are so have to be perfect and everything that when something goes wrong, they just lose everything and it's just out the window. And, so don't be that way. Own it. Oh, hey, I forgot to turn the mic on there for a second, but we're back now. Or, oops, that's the wrong button. Let's press this one. All right, there's our video. Be ready for those things to happen. Is the bottom line.
And some advice was given to me when I was 18 years old. I was a freshman at Creighton. Our friend, Dr. Greg DiNicola, PDQ Urgent Care and More, who we've done some videos for, he was in a speech class with me. He was a junior, I was a freshman, so I thought, wow, this guy's been around the world. But I got up to do my speech, and I messed up, and I kind of pointed out that I messed up, and he wrote a note that said, you got a really good voice. I wouldn't have known you would have messed up if you didn't point it out. Just act like nothing's wrong, carry on like it. And most people really don't notice that kind of stuff, So just act like nothing's wrong and continue on.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I mean, if it's clearly noticeable, like for instance, my microphone wasn't on, there's no way to cover that. So own it. Just be like, oops, hey, there we go. Now we're back. But if it's something people don't notice, don't
dwell on it. Don't dwell on it.
No, absolutely not.
Whatever.
Absolutely not. But people will forgive you. Just own it and move on. Some people lose their what as soon as anything goes wrong. If you've ever seen some of those newsmen clips, sometimes they make one mistake and they're going crazy, throwing papers around and stuff. Don't be that person. Yeah, probably.
That one clip. There's a clip out there that went.
Oh yes, I remember that actually. Or Casey Kasem was the other one where he lost it. I gotta talk about this bloop 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 dog after playing this song about what is wrong with you? It's crazy.
Yeah.
crazy. But you just have to own it and move on. Or if it's something unnoticeable, just keep moving. I goof up all the time and with little things, and in my head I'm listening to myself, and I know I said that word wrong, and I just move on, and nobody notices. You know?
Well, you know, when I was on the radio, I made a living at it for 5 years in the 70s, and then probably for 20 years after that, I did Sunday mornings just for fun, you know. And I would air check myself, and you have this tape you put in, and whenever you turn on the mic, it would record you.
Yep.
And I thought, man, I didn't do a very good job today. I'd go back and listen to that air check. It was fine. So, you know, I mean, it really was. So something that you think maybe is kind of a big deal, people
It's the same with anything, you know. Speaking of which, by the way, I talked about my new desk here, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it came in from Amazon, and they had damaged it. So in the corner of this desk is a little damage. I'm touching it right now. A little bit of damage there. Now, I notice it, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. Anybody else who came in here would never notice it in a million years. You know, maybe, and who cares? It bugs the heck out of me, but it's because I know it's there, and it's mine, and so I see it. So when you make a mistake, it's your mistake. You see it, you feel it, it hurts. But just get over it. I make a mistake now, and unless it's a recording, by the way. If it's a recording versus live, I'll stop and do things over. But when it's live, you got to stay live. You know, you are live. You don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, no, and then that's there forever. So you got to be careful with that. But those are the 5 tips. Make sure that you are consistent. Get a good microphone, use a good camera, have software that does a lot of cool stuff for you so your videos look really, really good and you can do cool things with them. And then the 5th one, of course, is to just be prepared with your content so that people are ready when you get in there, you give them good content. And hopefully we've done that today, Steve. Hopefully.
That's right.
Because we are Movo powered, so hopefully that's given us superpowers to provide good content.
Did you say we're Movo powered?
That's right. We are indeed powered by Movo, the guys who make all these great microphones.
That's pretty great.
And lights and stands.
They make all kinds of stuff.
Mini tripods. They got mixers. They got all sorts of things.
They got mixers?
Oh, yeah, yep. They've got mixers. Wow. Not the kind you make your shakes with, but the kind you mix your audio with. But here's the thing, Steve. If you like to shoot video with your iPhone or your smartphone as opposed to big expensive equipment, they've got entire sections on there of just professional audio and video equipment to help you shoot better with your smartphone. And that's what we love, because even though I have nice cameras, I almost exclusively use my smartphone for everything I do because, well, let's face it, it's in my pocket and it's got better quality than professional cameras did just a couple years ago. So they got a lot of that stuff. But if you do podcasting and you need a microphone, they've got it. If you need lights for your studio, they've got some of those. You need a mini stand, which, by the way, I've got 2 of them now. The MVT1, it's a little mini tripod, stands about this tall, holds my smartphone on it. Love it, love it, love it. Fits right on my desk, because before I used to have to use a regular tripod and put my camera close enough to the desk, but as you know, a tripod goes like this. It shoots out like a pyramid. Well, guess what? That means you got to push it even further away. The camera's going to be further away because that leg is coming into it and hitting the desk. So now with this mini tripod, which by the way is just a tall rod and then little thin legs right at the bottom, so you don't have that tripoding issue like that, I just put it right on my desk between my 2 monitors. I've got a monitor here, got the tripod there with the camera on it, and now I got the Movo studio mic right above it. So, very cool stuff. Which, by the way, because the thing is, Steve, you know, I used to, with my other studio mic, with the way it was a different style of microphone. It was actually over here on this screen over here. So when I was recording things, the microphone was always over here. So I always had to look this way instead of at the camera. Well, now with this one here, even better. So
cool.
Although, even though I've got that, I'm still looking over here where Steve is, you know, to see. But he's close enough that maybe you can't tell. Plus, my eyes are screwed up. So,
yeah.
All right, that's enough. We're getting into medical conditions now. I think the people have had enough.
It's fine.
So if you're ready to start doing any of this stuff, you could check out Movo right now and check out all the great things that they have, all those great microphones and lights and stands and mixers and everything in between for your audio and video purposes. They even sell, at least they did, I noticed they were out of stock right now, the Zoom recorders. They sell that kind of stuff too. So be sure to check it out. They got all sorts of great stuff in there. Lapel microphones that you can get lapel microphones that literally plug right into your iPhone or your Android phone. So they've actually got, the end of it is actually a lightning port or a USB-C port. So you can get them like that. Now personally, I get the one that has the regular jack, and then I use the iPhone's lightning adapter. And the reason is because then I can use that microphone for all my cameras and computers and everything else. So it's not limited to just that. But if you need one that's just for your smartphone, you can get a USB-C one for your Android phones, your Samsungs and whatnot, or the Lightning one directly for that. And if you want to check out any and all of these, head on over to raiselinks.com/Movo. And don't forget, we are giving away, and I don't have it, I'll hold it up here. Oh, no, that's not it. I don't know where I put it. It's around here somewhere.
Uh-oh. Also, be prepared when you do a live event.
I know. Well, I didn't plan on showing you.
If you're going to show a product, make sure it's sitting next to you.
That's right. Make sure it's there. Well, I didn't plan on it, but we are doing a giveaway of a Movo product, and that is their portable smartphone production kit, which comes with the little hand grip, which, by the way, I called it a hand grip earlier because they call it a hand grip, but it's a hand grip, but it also attaches to your tripod. So you can literally hand hold, and your phone attaches to the top of it, and you can walk around handheld like that. But that hand holder attaches to any tripod or other type of mount. It attaches to the mini tripod as well, so you can actually have your phone mounted. That's what I'm using on the mini tripod, is the PR1 hand holding system there. And you use that with your phone to hold it, put that on your tripod or carry it around. And you're also getting a nice microphone called, in fact, I do have this one. This one's the Pro version of it, but in that box, this is the, right here, if you're watching on video, the VXR10, we'll get rid of the word Pro, because the one that you guys are getting is the VXR10, looks like something like that, and it attaches to the top of your smartphone on top of the PR1 grip. The PR1 grip has the little shoe mount, you stick that on there, and now you have your phone on a nice holder with a bubble level, so you can see your levels. You can attach it to a tripod, and you can have a shotgun microphone pointing at people that's going to give you much better audio than the built-in microphones on your smartphone. So if you want to get in on that, go to raiselinks.com/Movo contest. So if you want to buy products, raiselinks.com/Movo. Want to get in on the contest? raiselinks.com/Movo contest. Be sure to do it now, because it ends in 5 whole days. 5 days. All right, Steve, we're ready for the music.
I am.
Well, then here it comes.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.